Hey, beautiful soul makers, welcome back to another Stitch story. If you're new here, I'm Janelle, and this series is all about celebrating the sewists, designers, and makers who stitched their way into history, often against all odds. Today, we're talking about someone truly special. Someone who took buttons, yes, buttons, and turned them into high fashion. Someone who sewed with his grandmother in Mississippi and ended up dressing the most glamorous women in Paris. This is the story of Patrick Kelly, the button king of Paris, the first American admitted to the prestige French Fashion Council, and a sewist who refused to let anyone dim his light. Now let's dive in and stitch through his story together. Patrick Kelly was born in 1954 in Vicksburg, Mississippi, a small southern town where creativity had bloomed in the cracks. And for Patrick, it bloomed right in his grandmother's living room. His grandmother taught him how to sew when he was just a little boy. They didn't have any fancy patterns or expensive fabrics, but what they had were scraps, old magazines, and imagination. And let me tell you, that was more than enough. Patrick would flip through Vogue and Harper's Bazaar magazine and study the photos and then recreate what he saw, using whatever fabrics he could find. He wasn't just copying, he was learning, understanding construction, figuring out how a sleeve should set, how a hem should fall, and how a garment should move. This is something I think about all the time as a sewist. You don't need the perfect setup to start creating. Patrick Kelly didn't have a sewing studio or a serger or even store-bought patterns. He had love, curiosity, and a sewing machine that his grandmother let him use. And that's where it all started. By the time he was a teenager, Patrick wasn't just sewing for himself. He was designing and making clothes for his friends and for local beauty pageants, for anyone who wanted something bold and different. His work was joyful, colorful, unapologetically him. But here's the thing, Patrick knew that Vicksburg, Mississippi wasn't going to be the place where his dreams came true. So, in the 1970s, he packed up everything and moved to Atlanta, Georgia, to study art and design at Jackson State University, and later at Parsons School of Design in New York. But even New York, the fashion capital of America, wasn't ready for Patrick Kelly. Not yet. In 1979, Patrick made the decision that would change everything. He moved to Paris. Now let's be real, this was bold. I mean, he didn't speak fluent French, he didn't have a job lined up, he didn't have connections in the French fashion world. What he did have was talent, determination, and a suitcase full of clothes he'd sewn himself. Now that part, I just really have to pause here because it really hits home. In the late 2000s, I left South Florida with one suitcase and a round-trip ticket to Atlanta, and I never looked back. I built my whole life here, my career, got married, had my kids, grew successful business, had jobs when I first got here, a wonderful life that I created. So I get it. That leap of faith Patrick took, that courage to bet on yourself when you have nothing but a dream and the skills in your hands. That type of mind shift power that when you just surrender, let it go, then all of the puzzle pieces starts to fall into place. Naturally, not force, not control, but just align by divine time. At first, Patrick survived by doing what so many artists do. He hustled. He sold his designs on the streets. He sketched, he networked, he worked odd jobs in boutiques, absorbing everything he could about the Parisian style. And slowly, people started to notice. Patrick's aesthetic was unlike anything Paris had seen. While French fashion was often sleek, minimal, and serious, Patrick's work was playful. It was bold, it celebrated color, curves, and yes, buttons. So many buttons. He covered dresses in buttons of all sizes. He used bows, bright prints, and references to his Southern roots and cultural heritage, sometimes in ways that were provocative, reclaiming imagery that had been used to demean and turning it into power, pride, and art. His clothes made people smile, and in the often stuffy world of high fashion, that was revolutionary. By the mid-1980s, Patrick had opened up his own boutique and was showing his collections to buyers, editors, and celebrities. His designs were worn by Grace Jones, Bette Davis, Paloma Picasso's. He was everywhere. And in 1988, Patrick Kelly made history. He became the first American and the first person of color to be admitted to the prestige French Fashion Council, the governing body of French ready-to-wear fashion. Now let that sink in. A boy from Mississippi who learned to sew with his grandmother was now officially recognized as one of the greatest fashion designers of Paris. So what made Patrick Kelly's work so special? I mean, beyond the buttons, the bows, and the sheer fun of it all, it was his sewing. Patrick never forgot that he was a sewist first. His garments weren't just pretty, they were beautifully made. He understood construction. He knew how to draft a pattern, how to fit a body, and how to make something that moved, breathed, and felt good to wear. He did it all with a sense of humor and joy that was so rare in high fashion. He once said that fashion should be fun, that it should make people feel good. And you can see that philosophy in every piece he made. Even when he was being super bold and experimental, you could still feel the joy and celebration in every piece. Patrick also wasn't afraid to center his own story and heritage in his work. He used imagery from his childhood and cultural background, not to mock or diminish, but to reclaim, to say, this is part of my story and I'm going to tell it my way. That took courage because not everyone understood it. Some critics accused him of playing into stereotypes, but Patrick was clear. He was telling his truth, celebrating his culture, and refusing to shrink himself to make others comfortable. And as a sewist, I think we all can learn from that. Our work is personal, it is ours, and we don't need permission to tell our stories through fabric and thread. But here's the heartbreaking part. Patrick's star burned bright, but it burned fast. Because in January of 1990, Patrick Kelly died of AIDS-related complications. He was only 35 years old. His death was a devastating loss, not just for fashion, but for the sewing community, for the creatives everywhere, for everyone who'd been inspired by his joy and his courage. But the thing about legacies, they don't end when someone's gone. They ripple onward, they inspire, they endure. Today, Patrick Kelly's work is in permanent collection of museums all around the world. His designs are studied in fashion schools, and his history continues to inspire a new generation of sewists, designers, and makers who see themselves in him. He proved that you don't need to follow the rules to succeed, that your background, no matter how humble, is not a limitation, that sewing is an art form, a craft, a form of resistance all at once. Patrick Kelly took scraps and turned them into couture. He took buttons, he made them iconic. And he did all of that with a smile on his face and a needle in his hand. And speaking of carrying on his legacy, I actually made my own Patrick Kelly-inspired button dress. So I wanted to honor Patrick's playful spirit and his love of buttons. So I created my own version, using techniques he would have loved. Lots of bold colors, lots of buttons, and a whole lot of joy stitched into every seam. In the fashion and design world, we first must follow the #1 rule. That is to never ever use your good fabric to make something for starters. Always use practice fabric first. Then once you're happy with your practice version, using your practice fabrics, then you're ready to make your official sewing garment using your good, real, official fabric next. I've been sewing for many years, and I still till this day follow that #1 rule religiously. No matter how good or how advanced I think I am with my sewing skills, I still practice first for errors, corrections, proper construction, fit, and the list goes on. So here it is. At first, I grabbed this sweater knit dress I bought a long time ago. I don't remember where I bought it. Could have been Walmart. Honestly, I don't know, but it was in my closet. And I was just going to use this style already made and created to insert the fashion buttons. But after putting it on, oh, absolutely no way. I really disliked the fit of this dress. Then I'm thinking to myself, no wonder I never worn it before. I mean, as you can see here, it's baggy, it's loose around the bodice, which means if I ever was to wear this dress for real out in the streets, I would have to make alterations around the bust. And to also mention, this dress is just way too short for my professional comfort and style. So no, I scratched this idea of using something that's already made and bought from the store to put the buttons, and went back to my love of pattern cutting and assembly. So I use this beautifully designed bodycon dress pattern in midi version with a flare at the bottom hem. This style is so elegant and it is so Lady J. It hugs the body, it shows the curves, and finished off with this cute, unique flare. Once I'm all done cutting out all the pattern pieces, then here I am making my practice garment first. Again, following the #1 rule of using my fabric to practice. This fabric that I'm using to practice with, it's just jersey knit fabric. I use the color brown for practice. And I absolutely love my practice version. Then right away, I got back to work on making my official version in color black. Same material, ITY jersey knit fabric. I also added lining inside of my official make. Now my choice of button colors, I played around with the different colors in bold in my button settings, but I scratched that idea as well. And I ended up with Rasta Caribbean Jamaican flag energy type colors, you know, like red, gold, and green. And in making this, after completing everything and putting on the final make, is when I arranged my Rasta colors in these 3 neat rows. Why it start looking like a whole lot of traffic lights are on me. So here we are. This dress is my love letter to Mr. Patrick Kelly, a reminder that his work doesn't just live in the museum. It lives in us. It lives on us. Every time we're picking up a needle, we create something bold, unapologetically ourselves. So I'm curious, but have you ever heard of Patrick Kelly's story before? And if so, how did you discover him? Me, I learned about his story about 1 year ago during Black History Month. He was featured on the news. They were highlighting him. I also tried to see if there's any other books about him because everyone knows I love reading my books. I am a book girl. I love holding that paper book in my hand. And unfortunately, I couldn't find any books about him like I did with the other untold hidden fashion icons I shared on my channel. I found those books, read it, and brought the stories to you. Also, while learning about his story, I discovered that others in the fashion design space recreated their very own inspired Patrick Kelly look. Oh my gosh, it was so cool to see others do the same. I came across a lot of blogs and others who made their own beautiful version with their buttons. And in also another rule in the fashion space, when you're sewing and fashion designing, you're not supposed to copy someone else's work. No, 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 no. Big no, no. Do not copy. You use their work as inspiration, as a guide, for guidance, to visually give you an idea of how you want to recreate your own style. Never copy. Never duplicate. You can often replicate with a minor twist, put your own spin-off on it. That way you can avoid being sued, you can avoid copyright infringement. So I saw all of that and it was so inspiring to see. So yeah, if you can please comment below and tell me, have you heard of him before? And if so, could you see yourself designing your own Patrick Kelly inspired dress? What would your Patrick Kelly inspired piece look like? Would you cover it in buttons, bows, bold prints? Or just comment below if you already made something inspired by him or any designer who moved you. I want to hear about it because I would love to learn more about them as well. Now, the truth is, beautiful soul maker, Patrick Kelly's work didn't wait for permission to create. He didn't wait for the perfect moment or the right resources. He just started with scraps, with buttons, with love. So if you have that sewing machine that you've been holding on to, someone gifted it to you, a friend or a family member, you don't know what to do, where to start, just take it out. Come on here to the YouTube universe, YouTube Academy, learn and get started. You can get started too, just like Patrick Kelly did. Whether you're a beginner sewist or you've been stitching for decades, your story matters. Your creativity matters. The world needs what only you can create. So if this story inspired you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to hear Patrick's story today. Patrick Kelly proved that one needle, one vision, and one bold idea can change everything. And his story is one every sewist, aspiring seamstress, and fashion designer, future fashion student should know. Also, please be sure to subscribe to my channel as I continue to discover and share more sewing fashion legends history tried to erase. And if you want another incredible sewing history story, please check out my video on Anne Lowe. This is Jackie Kennedy's wedding dressmaker, another overlooked legend. And remember, every stitch is an act of courage, every garment is a story, and you, yes, you, are part of this legacy. So thank you so much for being here with me today, beautiful soul maker. Thank you for stitching through his story with me. Now, go make something beautiful, soul maker. Don't wait. Just get started. This is House of Lady J, and I'm Janelle, and I'll see you on the next Stitch Story. Bye!